Good la 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 la. I don't know what that was. Let's try that again. Good morning and welcome back to the Retail Cafe. This is episode 30, I believe, and it has been a slow day. It's been a slow start to my day. You can tell by how badly I'm messing up this introduction already. And yes, I am going to keep all of this in. But with that being said, let's go check out the merch promo and then we'll get started with some retail reactions. Welcome back. I hope you guys had ordered your eats and your drinks, and we're going to be starting with the Black Cajun. Cajun. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Weird encounter with a customer. When is encounters not weird on these stories? You know what? Let's just get into it. And it's a short story. Thank goodness. So I work in the dairy section of a big grocery store. One day on my lunch break, I grabbed food from the hot bar and went to checkout. Ooh, hello, stomach. I can hear you growling. There was this older lady in front of me finishing up. So I waited by the card reader and I put my food box on the conveyor belt, not even moving, just looking at my phone. Suddenly I look up and this lady is barely a foot in front of me and close to my face, grinning hard and saying, "Do I know you?" Then she says I was too close to her even though she literally walked toward me from the other side. I was confused, but I didn't argue. I just went ahead and stepped back. Even the cashier lady was like, "You didn't even move. She came over to you." Told a coworker in the maintenance section later, and he said she probably liked you. But all I could think was, if an older man did that to a young woman my age, 20, it wouldn't be brushed off like this. Anyway, just retail, just weird. Retail stays wild. I love the story. It's such a cute anecdote. Okay, look, I mean, honestly, I would have been like, lady, I don't know you, and you the one who came to me, and I am feeling a little uncomfortable right now. Can you maybe please step back? I would have most probably done that, but I understood why this person was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna step back because, I didn't want to cause a scene, didn't want to start a confrontation or anything like that. But yeah, I don't that's how I would have handled the situation. I would rate this like a 2 out of 5 because it's not that serious and it's just a weird situation to find yourself in. But thank you, the Black Cajun, for sharing that story. We are going to move on to story number 2 by Goblin Queen Forever. Ooh, I like. Ooh, pardon me. I mocked a customer into leaving the store. I don't know if I like this. I already want to rate this like a 3 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5. If this person is the one who worked in retail or if this was a fellow customer. Hmm. Okay, let's read before judging. I work in a discount store, a fairly large store that sells a variety of items with 5 checkout lanes. Today there were only 2 of us on the tills. And it was busy. Long queues for us both. No time for breaks, 'cause we didn't have anyone who could step in and help. Customers were grouchy, understandably, impatient, the usual. So I'm serving, trying to get as many people through the line as possible, and my gaze lands on a guy who's just kind of lingering along the fringes of the queue. Not joining it, just standing in a place like he's looking to jump the line or something. He sees me looking, then calls over really loudly. Can't you open another till? And I'm just like, what the F, man? If we had anyone else who could be on the tills, they would be on the tills. We're not hiding able bodied employees up our asses to inconvenience you. And I don't know why specifically this guy, I get asked this so many times when it gets busy. And normally I can control myself and just smile and apologize politely, no matter how much I hate that question. But this time I just snapped. I look at him and I'm like, wow, that's such a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Hey, Colin, supervisor's name. He was working on the till right in front of mine. Why don't we just get someone else on the till? He doesn't look back at me, just answers all serious. We don't have anyone. So I took so I look back at the guy, sarcastic smile gone and deadpan. We don't have anyone. He looks incredulous for a moment, then replies, this long line and there's only two of you? I smile again and just say, welcome to retail. All chipper like before, returning my attention to my customer, whose items I had not stopped scanning during this momentary bout of pettiness. I assure you, the next time I look over, he's walking out of the shop, just dropped his items on the floor and everything. Could I have been nice? Yes. More respectful? Certainly. Do I regret it? No. Uh, uh, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. I really don't know how to feel about this. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I just, d- See, I don't like the way she handled the situation, but she must have been under a lot of stress. She must have been dealing with a lot of miserable customers and dealing with a lot of complaints and stuff like that. And she just reached her breaking point, like, I've had enough of this. And yeah, but as for that, like honestly, I would have pulled her aside later on and be like, hey, listen, we don't talk to customers like that. Like I understand if a customer is being an a-hole and you're defending yourself, that's different. I don't think this was like customer being an a-hole. I think because I sometimes I get irritated when standing in the queue. And even though I worked in retail, I worked in a small bookshop, and there was only two tellers at all times. And it's not like we got busy all the time. I wasn't working in like a big grocery shop where it gets really busy or anything like that. So I don't have as much insight on this as I would like to have, but I honestly there have been times when I've been standing in queues and I'm just like, this is starting to make me mad because there are so many tellers open. Like there's like maybe five, six tellers on the counter, and there's only two people operating it. And then you see some coworkers standing around and stuff like that, and you're just like, are they trained on tillers? Like, what's going on? And there's so many times, but I do stop myself where I do want to ask, hey, can't you open up another um, tiller? Can't you get more people on tillers? You can see how busy it is. And some customers get this idea in their head where they can stand and talk with the tellers for like 30 minutes. Okay, maybe I'm over exaggerating, but they will stand there and they'll talk to the teller for and tell them the entire life story, and you standing in the queue and you just want to pay for your stuff and get out, but you can't. And I don't understand why tellers don't tell these customers, hey, listen, we need to, like, okay, you're that, or they don't stop the customer by it's like, excuse me, ma'am, or excuse me, sir, next, to let the customer know, like, hey, listen, you're taking up time. We need to get this going, because that is also very frustrating. So there are times where I do want to ask this questions, but I don't, because like I don't think it's, by the time you get to the counter, you're just like, I'm here. I just want to pay for my stuff and leave. So you don't think to ask that question when you get to the counter. But while you're standing in line, you keep asking that question over and over and over in your head. So I can understand the customer's frustration, but I don't agree with how the retailer handled the situation. She could have handled the situation with a lot more class. And again, I would like to say that I understand why she snapped the way she did, because she was most probably at her wits' end, and she's most probably been dealing with customers who've been a-holes to her the entire day. So I will rate this a 3 out of 5. It's not a situation you can really judge unless if you've been in these people's shoes. But speaking from a customer standpoint, I understand why customers ask that question. But yeah, that's just my view. I don't know how I would have handled this situation when you just at that point where you snap. You like it's not something you can control. Like you just you just need to let that frustration out. And and then once you let the frustration out, then you like sit afterwards and you're just like, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done that. But you reach such a boiling point where it just tends to boil over. So I can understand that. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I have no idea how I would have handled this situation. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of this and how you would have handled this situation. And let me know about your stories about standing in line when there was like only two or one counter open, when there was like five tellers available and there was only one person behind one. Let me know. Let me know. And yeah, we're going to be moving on to our third story. This is from Virtual Pie 5732. Customer has my back about annoying policy. Years later, I return the sentiment. This is going to be a heartwarming one. And it's a long story. Okay, let's get this going. I first need a sip of my coffee because, nah. That tastes nice. I need to talk to my rigger, see if he can do it. I actually want to get this my face rigged into a certain way where where on stream I do this whole, or even in recordings, I do this whole thing where my face, like, copies the, I don't know, the facial expressions of those sounds. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but yeah, anyway, let's just get to the story. Okay, so one of my biggest pet peeves when I worked retail was my manager's insistence that I had to check up on the customers like every 5 minutes. Customers do not like that. I did that as well, and I had a customer snap at me for it. So you learn to back off. They just there to browse. Like, you ask them once, and if they've been there for like an hour or whatever, you maybe check on them twice within that hour to make sure that they are okay. The store I worked in was small enough that you could see everyone and what they are doing from the register. It was especially annoying when I had stuff to do behind the register. So, this instance, several years ago, I'm in the store and it's very slow. No one in there at that moment, but inventory is in so. I have something to do. Someone walks in, I greet them, hey, my name is Sam. Let me know if you need anything. List some sales. That is very, yeah, okay, we had to do that as well. The customer's like, okay, and they go about browsing. Manager comes out from the back, probably not even 10 minutes later. walks over to me and asks if I help the person in the store. I told him I greeted him and if he needed anything to come get me. Doesn't satisfy my manager, so I am forced to walk up to the guy and ask him again. Not even 10 minutes have gone by. If he needs help. He says no, he's just looking around and seeing what's on sale. I leave him alone and he continues to wander about the store. Only roughly 5 minutes go by when my manager himself walks up to the guy and asks him if he needs help. Dude is now clearly annoyed, but politely tells my manager he's fine on his own. Manager comes over to the register and stands next to me. Just a little over 5 minutes goes by, and he tells me to go again and ask if the guy needs help. I walk over to him and I clearly tell him on what? I can clearly tell on his face he's ultra annoyed. I would be annoyed as well. So I say low enough that my manager can't hear. Hey, I'm sorry, I know you don't need help, but he's making me ask. The guy is still annoyed, but there's a look of understanding now. So he goes rather loudly so my manager can hear. Thanks, I'm fine. I don't need help. If I do, I can find you. I'm not a baby who needs to be walked around the store. Oh, oh, I love it. I love this customer. I smile and go back to the register where my manager is standing there now with this look I can't even describe. But he finally goes to the back, and for the rest of the day, he didn't bother me about bothering customers. Cut to present day. I love it. I'm a customer wandering the mall. I go into a clothing store. There's like four people working there. I'm greeted and proceed to wander the store because I'm just browsing. I'm barely in the store for 10 minutes, and every single worker there has come up to me and asked me if I need help. After two of them had come up to me for a second time, I finally go, you know what? I'm not okay. Could you get your manager, please? The girl I asked looks confused but goes and gets a manager. Manager comes out middle with that standard overly strained customer service smile and asked me what's wrong. I told her that I'm annoyed with the fact that I'm basically being followed around the store. I don't need to be asked 20 times if I need help. If I need help, I can find someone. I'm just browsing, and all this badgering is making the experience very less enjoyable. And now I don't want to shop anymore. I understand that this is the a policy you guys make your employees do, but I'm letting you know right now it's a very bad policy. I'm going to leave now, and I want you to know it's because of that. Her smile is her smile very much dims and it's clear on her face. She's trying to process a proper sentence to respond. Meanwhile, I noticed a little off to my left two employees watching us, both smirking and smiling, one doing their best to hold in laughter, and the other one is quickly texting on their phone. I'm assuming to some kind of sales associate group chat or a friend. Before the manager can finish her apology, I just politely tell her I'm leaving again and exit the store. Also, I know some stores do this to prevent theft, but you don't need to hound your customers. I agree. Like I said, I did this once and I got snapped at, and then I stopped because I think I checked on the customers twice, and I didn't realize that I was checking on her like with 5 minutes of her in the store with 10 minutes. I wasn't checking on like how long she's been in the store. And I think the second time she snapped at me and then I left her alone. She continued browsing, but I left her alone. So I do understand that, and I do understand. So me, I wasn't doing this because it was a policy. I was doing this because I was just like, I just wanted to be helpful. I just wanted to, you know, serve our customers. And then and I learned then and there that you don't check up on your customers that often. So every time when a customers walk in, I would greet them and say they're just there to browse, and I'm like, okay, cool. Some of them would ask for help when I greeted them, and other times they would browse and then they would ask for help. But there was, yeah, so I think that's the only incident I had similar to this, and I would rate this a 3 out, actually a 1 out of 5, because these people were very helpful, and I'm grateful that the customer had this person's back, and this person had somebody else's back when the same thing was happening to him. It is so great to see, and I don't think I would have handled this any differently. I think this is chef's kiss. Anyway, did you guys have any experience like this? Let me know in the comments down below. So moving on to our fourth story. Polite habit allowed a theft. Ooh, I would say this is like a 3 or 4 out of 5 because stealing. I've been out of retail for over a decade, but another post jogged my memory of an event. Okay, guys, if my reading is a kind of little whack, it's just because everything just kind of went blurry and I have no idea why. Oh, okay, that's better. Okay, when I minimized one of the stuff. Nope. Okay. Okay, never mind. That's better. Just stop blurring. Like it kind of went all glitchy, and then it's like you reading the words in double. So when I minimized the other apps, it kind of fixed itself. Lol. Okay. I've been out of retail for over a decade, but another post jogged my memory of an event. The store I worked at also did automotive services such as tires and lube, aside from all kinds of stuff available in the rest of the store. I was manager of the automotive merchandise, but this overlapped with helping out in the shop and running the checkout counter there. There was an exit to the shop area and then outside that required a code to be entered or a hidden button pressed behind the counter so we could let customers exit. Customers didn't know this, so if I wasn't paying attention, it would result in an awkward yank on the door and a sorry, try again as I pressed the button. So I got in the habit of just pressing the button as someone was walking to the door. One day, a man is heading towards the exit, nothing suspicious. I press the button, and as he exits, the anti theft scanner alarm goes off. I say, "Excuse me, sir," and he breaks into a sprint, gets outside, hops in his car, and peels out. So I'm confident he stole something. In face, I'm pretty confident it was a fairly expensive OBD 2 scanner I found the package for later that day. Dumb mistake, and I felt pretty bad, but my district manager happened to stop by to inspect the store that day and was at the counter when that happened. I wasn't reprimanded in any way for unlocking the door, but I was nervous for a while that I was going to be, and especially embarrassed. I do sometimes wonder how the story would have gone if he wasn't able to exit. Huh. I don't think he's got really anything to feel bad for, but like, I mean, didn't they? Oh, this story is by Pyrozac, so I do have a question. Didn't this company have security? Because if they had security, then standing at door as well, then the guy wouldn't have just been able to run off like that. Um, and you and when things get stolen, I'm pretty sure there's insurance involved for stolen goods in retail. And not only that, if you get the police involved and if you have cameras, then you know who to look out for. So this is just like, I feel bad that that Pyrozac felt embarrassed. This is something that was out of his control, but honestly, after that situation, as the manager or the owner of the store, I would have hired security to stand watch by the door just in case something like this happens again. That's just my takeaway from this, but I don't think this Redditor has anything to feel embarrassed about. So that's just my I would say this is a 3 out of 5 because I mean it, like, yeah, theft is bad. You're not supposed to be stealing. Um but the guy ran away. He didn't pull out a gun. He didn't try and do anything to harm anyone. He just ran. He just made a run for it. So that's why I'm rating this a 3 out of 5 because this could have been a lot worse and a lot more dangerous. And I think if he did try and stop, well, considering that this customer just ran away or this thief just ran away, if he couldn't get out, I think he would have just um returned the stolen goods and just left on his Larry Lonesome. So that's just my opinion. That's just what I take from the story. How would you guys handle this situation? What do you guys think of this story? And have you had dealt with anything like this before? Please let me know in the comments down below. So, moving on to our last story, which is a short story. Thank you, 13 spider monkeys. Thank you for making this a short story. Surely you're a foot guy, right? What kind of fetish thingy are we going into now? I'm not ready for this. Wait, what? Why would you say that? Oh my word. Okay, let's get over the shock and get into it. Okay. I work inside a big box store selling phones. I was helping train a new employee when a couple came up. So we greeted them and asked what we could do for them. They're asking about some of our services, and before I could say anything, the gentleman asked me a question. He asked me and my coworker if we recognize his wife. We say, no, sir. He's, he tells us that she has the most beautiful feet on television. What? Go ahead, look at them. No, thank you. I'm good. We're like, oh, the gentleman then asked my coworker, what, don't you like feet? Coworker said, no, sir, not really his thing. So the customer turned to me and asked, surely you're a foot guy, right? Well, I was like, no, sir. So about the service you're wanting, the guy went on and on about how it's a damn shame that we don't have any feet guys working. He's had our service for years and never been more disappointed. This felt like the sir, this is Wendy's me as a retail salesman. That has got to be the weirdest experience I've encountered. Okay, it's one thing to be proud of your wife. It's another thing to be like, aren't you a foot person? No, that is your fetish. And honestly, I would have turned to the customer and be like, sir, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable about your fetish and what goes on in the privacy of your bedroom. I, I'm very happy that you're proud of your wife and you want to brag about her success, but there's a line, and right now you're crossing it, and I am very uncomfortable with this conversation. Can we just please sir, this is not a, I don't know, sex dungeon or toys where where we sell spicy things for the bedroom. The, this is not our job. Can we just please get to what you need? Thank you. Like I'm feeling so awkward and so, oh no, this is a like this is an awkwardness out of 5. I You know what? With that being said, I'm gonna end this recording right here. If you like, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I shall see you next week, hopefully with better stories and less awkward interactions. Until then, bye, my cubbling. I, I, okay, bye.